1, 2, buckle my shoe. I need a big Scooby-Doo. It's probably the worst sound check ever, but I am who I am. So in this particular video, I'm going to be speaking with you about why most tradespeople are completely broken. And more importantly, how to fix it. Now, there's a lot of information out there, probably just like this video. But what I'm going to be talking with you about is something called my life triangle, the BDB triangle. Everything revolves around this. And I promise you, if you follow this life triangle and the premise of it, you will have more energy, you'll be a better human being, and you won't recognize yourself in literally 8 to 12 weeks. So let's get straight into it. What is the life triangle? The life triangle is made up of 3 quadrants. 3 quadrants being nutrition, training, and rest. And I'm going to be breaking down some nuances within inside those particular quadrants within this video to help you to get your old self back. Now, firstly, a bit of a disclaimer. If you're watching this video, chances are you are a tradesman and you are a little bit low on energy. And I just want to be starting off by saying I watched a video the other day of my little niece at Sports Day, and she was running and doing the egg and spoon race and all that sort of jazz. And one thing that I noticed is that she was running with ease. All of her friends that were running with ease. There was no moaning. They didn't need motivation. They were just moving because they're human beings. They're kids. And somewhere along the line, you have lost that human beingness. We all did at some point, particularly if you're a tradesman with kids and family and friends and all that sort of stuff and a mortgage and responsibilities. We can sometimes get lost with movement. But one thing I want to start, and that's going to bring me on to a nice segue for the beginning of this video, talking about the life triangle, which is training. Now, there's 2 bits I'm going to be speaking with you about within the training quadrant of the life triangle, which is running and lifting. And I'm going to start off with running. Now, running, you might be watching this, raising your eyebrows and being like, John, do you know what? I just don't like running. I would rather stick pins in my eyes or eat slugs. Now, that might be the case, but let me just tell you something. The first basic movement, the first basic human movement on this planet is walking. Walking is the most basic thing you can do. The second most basic movement you can do, or thing, is running. And let me be quite frank with you here right now. If you cannot run for a mile or 2, you're in trouble. You are in serious trouble, particularly if you're over 40. If you cannot run, say 100 meters or maybe 200 meters without getting out of breath, without any struggle, you're in trouble. So that's where I want to start with this whole life triangle. It's actually going to change your life. Start to run. Get running. Doesn't have to be for, half marathons and all that in the beginning. Just run, even if it's for 100 meters. So where do we start with all this? Running. So one thing that a lot of people get wrong is using the wrong footwear, because if you've got the wrong footwear when you start to run, it's going to hurt. Running's going to hurt. If you've got some Nike Air 90s or some Reebok Classics because you look really cool and you want to use them to go running, chances are it's going to make the job 10x more difficult compared to if you buy yourself a decent pair of running trainers. Now, if you want an easy life, I'd recommend a pair of Nike Air Vomero 18s. They're the best part of about 120 quid. Literally going to change your life if you get these trainers. Ones that I'd recommend are Ultras. Main reason being is because they've got 0 drop and a wide toe box. Not going to go into the nuances of that now, but just know if you have either 2 of these trainers, the Nike Airs are probably going to make your life a lot easier. The Ultras are a little bit more difficult, I would say, to running. Then get either 1, 2 of these pairs of different trainers to help you to start running. Now, again, where I'm going with all of this, the life triangle, okay, we're in that training quadrant. I just want you to know, again, running, if there's one thing you take from this video, start to run. It doesn't even have to be half marathons and 5Ks or whatever and times. Just get out and run, okay? if you can't run, walk, just start. Get that cardiovascular system moving, because there's more benefits to running than I care to mention in this video. If I did mention some of them, this video would be the best part of about an hour long. So with that, I want to talk about weight training as well. This is a bit of an obvious one, but for a lot of tradespeople, maybe even yourself, it is pretty much impossible to get to the gym. I get that as well. I mean, I am completely obsessed with running and weightlifting and all that sort of stuff. And the reason I say that is I still struggle to get to the gym. Sometimes even getting to the gym once a week can be a bit tricky, but I do manage it at least once a week, I would say. So the reason I say that is because there are programs that you can do at home, such as press-ups, squats, the plank, bird dogs, etc. There's all of these different exercises which would take you the best part of 20 minutes, which you can do first thing in the morning. So where I'm going with that for you is there is no excuse, okay? The only excuse you're going to have is this, is your brain. And let me be quite frank with you. The brain is designed to do one thing for you, and that is to keep you alive. It doesn't want you to do uncomfortable things, such as running, such as going to the gym, because your brain wants you to survive. But just know, there's comfort in the uncomfortable, which is kind of like a bit of a weird paradox in a sense, because the more uncomfortable you get, specifically with running and also weight training, the longer and healthier your life is going to be. So with all that said, let's talk about one of the second quadrants within the life triangle, which is nutrition. Now, this is a bit of a no-brainer, to be honest with you. I mean, we all really know that we need to be eating class foods, not eating B food, seafood, such as crisps and pizzas and pastas and all that sort of stuff. Now, I don't want to bore you with this. Just know you need class A foods. Class A foods being chicken breasts, beef, oranges, fruit, vegetables, all that sort of stuff. Now, I'm going to talk about macros really quickly. There's a rule of thumb that you need a certain amount of essential proteins every day. Now, with protein, you need 20, it's the best part of 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. Just know that. So with that said, you kind of want to be aiming between 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. So to give you kind of an example to hit this, you know, an egg has got like 6 grams of protein in. A chicken breast that weighs about 100 grams has probably got about 25 grams of protein in. So with that said, you can kind of do the math. Now, one thing people don't talk about is why we need protein, particularly as tradespeople, okay? The reason we need protein, particularly as tradespeople, because we are on the move all the time, particularly if you've got a physical job like plastering, landscaping, maybe bricklaying, or even scaffolding to mention that. What happens with protein is there's 9 amino acids specifically in protein, okay? And one of them being leucine. And what leucine does is activate protein synthesis. Try saying that after a few beers. Protein synthesis. And that is really important. It keeps our body in an anabolic state. Now, I don't want to get too biological and scientific with you with all of this. Just know you want to be looking at getting protein with every meal. And it's pretty much going to be impossible for you to get your protein numbers every day unless you have got like a good whey protein shake. Now, on that note, I would recommend Momentous whey protein. It's third-party tested. There's no shit in it. It's not going to bloat your belly. The only downside to it is it's really expensive. Failing that, if you want a bit of a cheaper option that's going to last you, bulk is always good. I get it from Amazon. It's the best part of 60 quid. Links are in the description. So look, with nutrition, just keep it simple. Class A foods, and you want to be hitting your protein goals every day. Now look, can you still have the chocolate and ice cream? Yes, I would say so. But at the end of the day, just keep it as a treat, not a lifestyle. Maybe once a week at most. But yeah, look at getting your protein. As I say, you want 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. That's a good place to start. With that said, let's move on to the next quadrant. I see no fitness gurus. I see no influence on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it may be, talk about this subject. Rest. Rest is so important, particularly as you age, okay? And there's a bit of philosophy that I use in the sense that aging is inevitable, but how you age is completely your choice. And part of the aging process, if you like, or that slows that down, is rest. And all I'm going to be talking about within this quadrant is sleep. It starts and stops with sleep. Now, one thing I want to be touching on within this quadrant, because I know if you're watching this, you're probably a tradesman, is alcohol. Okay, now why is alcohol so bad for us? Okay, we do know that it's bad for us. We don't drink alcohol and go, do you know what, I'm being really fit and healthy here, I'm going to smash 25 Stella Artois and then go and run a marathon tomorrow. Deep down we know that beer, alcohol, etc. isn't good for us. But why is it not good for us? The reason it isn't good for us is because it completely tanks our sleep. It kills our HRV, our nervous system. And what basically happens is when you consume alcohol, what it does is it puts your CNS, your central nervous system, in the fight or flight state. Your body believes that the alcohol is poison. And subsequently, what it does is it prioritizes all of the resources within your body on a cellular level to deal with the alcohol. So when you go to bed, it's really important to understand that alcohol doesn't put you to sleep. It just sedates you. Your body, meanwhile, is keeping you awake. Now, if you want proof of this, just get yourself a Garmin or some sort of sleep wearable tracking device, if you like, and look at your HRV, which is your heart rate variability. This is an indicator to tell you what sort of state your nervous system is in. When you consume alcohol, it absolutely tanks your HRV because your body believes that it has poison in it. Now, subsequently, what happens is you don't get any access to REM deep sleep. Okay, so REM sleep is where your brain basically washes itself, it gets rid of all of the stress, all of that sort of jazz, and deep sleep in the nuts and bolts of it is where your body repairs and grows, releases growth hormone and testosterone. These are really important, good anti-aging hormones, if you like. And if you are smashing the beers and smashing the alcohol, just know that your body isn't going to be getting access to sleep, which is not a good thing. So this is in the rest quadrant. This is all I'm going to be talking about here because I don't want to overload your brain too much. So with that said, let's wrap this up. I appreciate that these ideas and the ideology around the life triangle may be difficult to get your head around at first, but I promise you, if you implement some of the tips that I've shared with you within this video, your energy levels are going to be going through the roof. Your life will literally change with just these 3 quadrants. Now, the thing I want to be saying as well is a lot of lads, particularly in the BDB community, the Brick Dust and Barbells on Facebook, they tell me that motivation's a really difficult thing to find. Now, with that said, I just want to squash this by saying that you don't need motivation, you need discipline. They're 2 very different things. Discipline and motivation are kind of like close cousins, if you like. You want to be looking for consistency. Doesn't have to be perfect all of the time, just needs to be consistent. Now, with that said, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm interested to hear from you. If you have any questions about some of the concepts and ideas that I've been sharing within this video, please put them in the comments below. I'll make sure to answer every single one of them because I have 2 subscribers at the moment and that's absolutely fine. But if not, as well, I would be really grateful if you found this video useful. Please consider subscribe to the channel. Really helps me out massively and maybe helps me to eat anything other than bread and water because I'm poor. Oh dear, I can't put that in really. But with that said, if you're interested as well to continue this fascinating journey, which I'm on also, and you want to join me on this journey of biology and progressing and seeing me on my half marathons and my marathons and all that sort of jazz, then make sure to subscribe. Check out some details in the description of this video. And with that said, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.